Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Sever7, and today we are taking a look at the Orion Knives Eris. And that's with the ultimate goal of seeing if it's going to fit into your collection or your daily carry rotation. Now, this is an in-house design by Orion Knives, and it's manufactured by Sikio. And then this did come in from the Lefty Pass-Around group, so it will go back to the Lefty Pass-Around group after my review. So this is a pivot lock design, and we've seen this on quite a few knives at this point, but there's two different kinds. There's the pivot lock design where you have a liner lock over here, and then you push the button, and then it pushes the liner lock, and then the blade comes free. But there's another kind, and I'm hoping you guys can see it, where you push the pivot, and then it actually sucks in a liner that's over here. So that would be like the same type of pivot lock that's on the truffles. And that's what Sikio specializes in. I've got a glare on my side, so I'm not sure if you guys can see that. But it's probably easier there. So if you look right here, you can see it kind of getting sucked in, I hope. Otherwise, I just sat there and pushed the button a million times for literally no reason. I don't know that there's an advantage to doing it one way versus the other, but I know Sikio is responsible for the pivot actuated locks where the liner is on the same side as the pivot, and whenever you push the button, it sucks the liner back in, and then you can open or close the blade, or the knife rather. So jumping into materials, we have on the handle, we have a contoured G10. And we've got kind of this, I guess kind of like checkered milling texture, which definitely adds some grip to the knife. We have T8 hardware all the way throughout. And then we've got a, I'll say, medium carry, titanium milled reversible pocket clip. So ambidextrous lock and ambidextrous carrying. We have a G10 backspacer that's going about 50% of the knife length. That's a little dirty. And then we have no spot for a lanyard, which is perfectly fine. Who cares? As far as the handle goes, we're relatively neutral, but we have a ton of room. So I can get a full 4-finger grip and still have plenty of space. And then I can come up here and get a 4-finger grip and still have plenty of space. Now there might be some concern if you choke up that you'll depress the button, but I'm choking up, and for me to get it to deactivate like it's a computer, I really have to push this button down. If I'm just holding and putting a little pressure on the button, like you can see my pointer fingers literally on the button applying pressure, nothing's happening, right? So it's not just a little push to get it to go. You really have to get in there and apply some actual effort. So, I mean, obviously, yeah, you want to be careful, and you certainly don't want to grip it, on the button. But if you do a little bit, this thing's not going to fly closed on you. Now, this does feel super light in hand. I don't remember off the top of my head what the weight is. Balance looks pretty good, maybe slightly butt heavy. But as long as the balance point is about where your pointer finger is, then it's gonna feel balanced in hand. And the advantage to that is the more balanced it feels, the lighter it feels, regardless of weight, right? So if you have a, say, 5-ounce knife, that would be considered fairly heavy, but a well-balanced 5-ounce knife can feel just as good as an awkwardly balanced 3.5-ounce knife, right? So that balance goes a long way towards giving you, maneuverability, I can't think of another word, but maneuverability, and we'll just leave it at that. And then we have no jimping at all, which I'm okay with because we get added grip from the G10. So you still, between that and this little groove here, you can still lock in and, and put the added strength that you want to behind your cuts, right? Like normally jimping's cool because like if you're going through really thick cardboard or something that just requires a little more force, having jimping to lock you in kind of braces you to put that additional force into your cut. But with this, since you're getting so much grip with this texture, not to mention you can really lean into this groove right here, you're still going to get that added leverage to really push and grind through, thick cardboard or other materials that require a little extra effort to get through. Now, as far as the blade shape goes, we do have this American style tanto. And I say American because a Japanese tanto is going to have a more belly. It'll still have, usually like a soft tanto, you'll have a little bit of a point here, but it's mostly going to be belly. With the American tanto coined by Cold Steel, it's point, straight line, point. So not as useful as a Japanese tanto, but definitely cooler looking than a Japanese tanto. We have what I believe is a PVD coating. We have a compound grind, and that just means that we have two different thicknesses of grind on the blade. So we've got here, I would say this is a flat grind, and then we get a little more robust up here towards the tip, and you can see it's separated with that line there. And normally that's done to give you the sliceability you need, but then also give you a robust tip for any like poking that you need to do, right? So if you need to poke into a box or cardboard before you cut it, you're going to have, yeah, it even gets thicker actually. Well, it doesn't really get thicker. No, that's just the end of the, well, actually, okay, let me change my mind a fourth time. So yeah, it gets thicker here than it is back here, regardless of the fuller. So it's, yeah, right here. It gets thicker than what it is back here, right here at the beginning of this swedge. So yeah, basically from here forward, you get a lot more robustness. That way you don't have to worry about like, breaking the tip. I mean, if you look, you can see it's fairly thick. So really built to be a one and done workhorse is what the blade's telling me. It'll slice, it'll poke, and it'll really handle any task that you want it to. And it might not be the best at every task, but it's got a lot of versatility. And whenever you're looking for, EDC, I think that versatility is, going to be important to you. Now we have 14C28N on the blade steel. That's one of my favorite blade steels by far. It's optimized 57 to 60 HRC, so we have a pretty wide range of optimization. It's going to have really high toughness. It's going to have medium edge retention. It's also going to have good corrosion resistance. And this is like the most premium budget-friendly steel. Very well balanced, just a good everyday carry steel for knives that are like under $100. For me personally, I wouldn't mind 14C on knives a little over, like, knives that are like 120, 130. That wouldn't bother me a bit. I mean, I do think it's a fantastic steel. Now, as far as the detent goes, well, let me say this first. I love the confidence that it takes to have just a fuller, right? Because somebody that's not in the knife world is going to look at this and they're going to be like, there's no studs, there's no flipper. What am I supposed to do? So to me, a fuller is a fantastic deployment method, and you get the advantage of like pick your own detent. If you want a stronger detent, then you would deploy from up here. If you want a lighter detent, you can deploy from down here. and just anywhere along this line. But I think it's a really cool touch to just have a fuller open. Now, the D10 on this thing is going to be the same as a liner lock, and it feels great. Nice crispy break. Nice clicky sound on the way up. The way down is a little lackluster. And it's going to be a guillotine drop because just like with a button lock, whenever you push the button down, you're removing all friction. So it's just going to drop shut. But the deployment and the feel of the detent braking, the acoustics on the deployment, all very crispy, super fidgety knife. Really big fan. And then this is lefty friendly because we have the reversible clip. And just like a button lock, you can operate it left and right-handed. Now, as far as the overall length, this is kind of a big boy. We're coming in at 8.25 inches with a blade length of 3.58 and then a blade to handle ratio of 0.76, which is a little bit lower than what I like. I really like the 0.8 because that's when you get the kind of 50-50 look. But let's do size comparisons. We'll start with the Civivi button lock Praxis. Get that up a little bit. So they're about neck and neck. They're pretty close to each other. Oh, I'm off a little bit. There we go. So actually the Civivi beats it by about a third of an inch. And let's check the milled aluminum brazen. And that's coming in a little bit smaller. Let's go ahead and check it out against the real steel Sylph. And it's dwarfing the Sylph. And let's do one more. We're going to do the Remet Wild Species. And it's got the Wild Species beat by about half an inch. So, I mean, at 8.25 inches, it's certainly a full-size knife. And that our weight's coming in at 4.4 ounces. And if that seems heavy, that's fair, right? Over 4 ounces. And for some people, that might be heavy. But keep in mind, with it being balanced as well as it is, it certainly doesn't feel like 4.4 ounces in hand. Now, the price on this bad boy is $89. I think they have a sale on their website right now for $80. I will link the site down in the description. So, do I think this is worth the $89? I do, because we don't see pivot operated liner locks under $100. And with the level of quality, the contoured and textured G10, the fidgety goodness, 14C28N, and having the pivot liner lock, yeah, I think the bang for your buck on this is awesome. Now, is this something I would carry? 100%. Aesthetically, it's not necessarily my style, but for the build quality, the comfortability, especially the action, I could see myself regularly waking up and this being something that, I grab week over week. Like, not every single day, but like it could be in my rotation and I'd be happy with it. It just feels really good. And, you can't reduce a knife down to the sum of its materials. Because if somebody tells me, 14C, G10, $90, I'm going to be like, not exciting. But when you get it in hand, the quality really speaks for itself. Really big fan of this knife. And Orbital Knives, they're a smaller company. Or not, I was right. They're a smaller company. They only have a couple of models out, like the Orion Cetus which was another great knife. You know, but for them to be a smaller company, but still manage to pull off such good action with the pivot liner lock, I mean, it's just incredible. You know, one thing I really like about Orion knives is that they do the basic stuff really well. You know, like any company can slap G10 on 14C and just say, yeah, we're good. But it's hard to see it maximized to this level. So very impressive offering by Orion Knives. I would absolutely carry this happily. My question is this something that you would carry, or is this something that would find its way into your collection? Let me know down in the comments below. Like I said before, I will have this linked in the description. And if you want more reviews like this, hit the like button. Please subscribe. And then you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at SEVRSEVN. That's Sever7, SEVRSEVN. And thanks for watching. I appreciate the support, the comments. You guys have been absolutely amazing. And I don't have a single comment on my channel that I haven't responded to directly, at least with a like and a heart. 0 comments that I haven't directly interacted with, which just goes to show if you guys are going to take the time to comment, I'm going to give that same energy back and I'll take the time to respond to it. So I appreciate you guys, and until the next time.